Welcome to Wesley Wednesday. We are so happy that you've joined us today. My name is Rob, and I'm here with Elizabeth, and we are part of the Wesley Des Moines team alongside our teammate, Thea, who's behind the camera making everything happen. Thank you for joining us for today's Teaching Kitchen featuring mushrooms. And thank you, in case they couldn't see, with our executive chef, Devon. For those of you attending online, you will see a link in the chat box to view the recipes so that you can follow along with Chef. In addition, we'll also email you all the recipes and a link to the Zoom recording following the event.
Thanks, Rob. So what a fun guy, right? Actually, it's all about mushrooms this week, so you may get a couple of fun guy jokes, but it's, like I said, all about mushrooms at Wesley. So we actually even have a couple of specials on the menu at the bistro this week. We have a cream of mushroom soup. We have the chicken portobello on fagaja that smells amazing. And then they're going to demonstrate a few new recipes for us today. So I'm really excited. We're actually here on the 5th floor of the Des Moines Gardens. So we are in the club room, which, as you can see, also has an amazing demonstration kitchen. So for those new to Wesley, I think most of you have visited here before, but if you're online, we have been here 78 years. We're on 42 acres overlooking Puget Sound, and we offer a whole range of homes, from cottages to brownstone condo styles to beautiful apartments. We have independent living, assisted living, memory care. So we offer all levels of care here at Wesley. So we're also a little bit different because we really focus on community choices, giving you choices, and then that continuing care. So of course, best of all for those folks here and those folks online is our community. So welcome to Wesley.
That's right. Thank you, Elizabeth. Our campuses are active and energetic. They are filled with fun, not fun guy, fun. Including our award-winning Wesley University extended learning classes. Residents have a voice through our resident councils and become engaged through many of our programs. Regular exercises are always popular. Our campuses offer multiple living options, as Elizabeth said. We also offer home care, home health, and hospice services in your own home, whether needed at a Wesley campus or in your own home in King and Pierce counties. Now, I'd like to introduce our campuses and team. First, you'll see on the screen, Wesley Lee Hill in Auburn opened in 2007 with 19 acres. Home style options include village homes, brownstones, the lodge, as well as catered living and the Arbor memory care. You'll have a network of services there, including a 36-bed skilled nursing and rehabilitation center with private suites. Contact Maureen for more information about Wesley Lee Hill. We also have our campus, Wesley Bradley Park, located in the heart of Puyallup near the South Hill Mall, shopping, medical care, and Bradley Lake Park. Currently, Wesley Bradley Park has a few rare openings in catered living and memory care. Make sure you check out the Wesley YouTube page for a fun video.
Super fun.
I can't think of fun anymore now that you said fun guy.
Sorry.
Fun video on the Bradley Park Yacht Club, a group of residents with a passion for model boat building.
Yeah, that is an awesome video. It's so fun. Fun guy. So Wesley at Tahali is our newest Wesley community, situated at the foot of glorious Mount Rainier. The campus boasts lots of walking trails, parks, huge community areas. The apartments are large, tons of light. So I hope you get to call Lisa or Emily and take a personal tour of that campus. It's just beautiful. We're here live at our flagship in Des Moines. So we're overlooking Puget Sound. What a beautiful view we have here. A little foggy today, but just gorgeous. We offer brownstone condos. We have our beautiful cottages, apartments. And again, I mentioned earlier, but we have independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, and memory care. our current redevelopment, we're adding new cottages, and we're actually building a brand new health center. So we do offer all those care levels right now, but we're just adding to it and adding a new state-of-the-art health center right here. So that should be completed in about early 2024. So I hope you say yes to come visit Wesley. I hope you say yes to meeting new friends here, and yes to the Wesley lifestyle. So
Great, Elizabeth, thank you. Now, let's get to the fun stuff. I'd like to introduce our executive chef, Devon Boyson. Chef Devon has 32 years of global experience in the restaurant industry, from US to Europe and Australia. He created the One Fermented Evening dining showcase series to showcase his award-winning culinary talents. Now, locally, Chef Devon served over 10 years with McCormick and Schmick's, becoming a trusted chef of Mr. McCormick. We are grateful to have the talented and entertaining Devon as our executive chef. With that, let me turn it over to Devon.
Well, thank you so much, Rob. All right, so thank you for the plug. That was amazing. I wish I was as good as it said. No, actually, obviously the reason why we're here today is because we get this opportunity about what's important. Am I on?
How about now? Excellent. Sorry, technical difficulties. We'll start over again. Okay, so obviously today we're here to do Teaching Kitchen. We do this about once a quarter, maybe a little bit later. We try to get everybody together so we can teach you fun things about food, get you interested in nutrition, and kind of show you a few tricks here and there, give you a little bit of fun, spend a nice rainy afternoon with you. I'm actually thrilled about this. This is a beautiful thing. Okay, so today, well, for this month, the superfood that we obviously we're highlighting is mushrooms. So obviously, we did mention that earlier. If you can kind of see, I just brought a little blend up here for everybody. So we've got these little yellow guys down here. They're actually a local wild mushroom called a chanterelle. Okay. These you cannot produce just by growing them on a log and putting them in your backyard yard. You got to go find these. So these that makes these, if you find these in the stores, they're a little on the spendy side. Obviously, this little guy right here you see is a domestic mushroom, the regular button mushroom or champignon. This little guy right here is a cremini mushroom or a baby portobello mushroom. Then we have these fun ones. These are called oyster mushrooms. Okay, and then this guy right here, a king oyster mushroom. So these are just fun mushrooms that you can find in the local grocery store. I know I went and purposely found these in a grocery store so I could tell you, hey, these you can find at a grocery store. So we're going to use kind of a mix of all of these. You're going to look at the recipes in front of you. We won't necessarily cover every mushroom that's listed there and here. We're going to play with it a little bit. We're going to add a couple fun ones in as we go along. Okay. So to start this off today, we're going to make this chili. It's a green chili, mushroom, and pork. We called it a stew. It's kind of a stew, basically. So the whole reason this is, well, let's back up here. We're doing this week kind of a breakfast idea about our food and our components. Next week, we're going to do one at Tahali, which will be much more the dinner and lunch idea. So think about breakfast as we're playing with these things. The stew, I know you're saying to yourself, what are we eating stew at breakfast time for? That's crazy. Actually, it's not crazy because there's a lot of different things you can do with it. Plus, it shows the multicultural atmosphere that we have on our menus here at Wesley. We want people amazing experiences. We want people to try new things. We want people to have fun with their food. Okay, so we've got this lovely stew we're going to do, and when you go a little south of the border, one of the things, and obviously growing up in kitchens, I obviously cooked a lot with other cultures, and having breakfast in different areas is a whole different ballgame. Breakfast here in the United States is it's pretty much a one-stop shop. You've got bacon, eggs, and toast. or you've got the big carbohydrate bomb, put some sugar on top of that, and now we've got breakfast for the day, right? That's not how it's done around the world. They do things like stews. They do things like fish stews, other interesting things. They'll have grilled fish. It isn't really what we would consider breakfast, but when you think about the components of it and you think about how nutritious that is, probably a better way to start the day all the way around instead of a big old plate of pancakes with the carbs and the sugar, right? So I wanted to give you guys an example of something you can do that's not your typical American breakfast. Also, mushrooms. Does anybody know why is it a superfood? What is a superfood? Does anybody know? It's super delicious. Very good. No, okay, so here's the idea of a superfood. The reason why we call it a superfood is because it's like for the size and the amount of calories involved, it's nutriently dense. So we've got a dense amount of B vitamins in mushrooms. We've got folate, we've got folic acid. They even say for pregnant women, they say eat mushrooms because they're great because they're full of all those minerals that they would use for prenatal vitamins. Great stuff. Also, great for your brain. They're finding the more and more we eat mushrooms, it actually helps our brain. So there's lots of great side effects to eating mushrooms. Now, again, if you read all the stuff that's out there, they'll say it's a miracle. It may do this, it may do that. The fact of the matter is, the more we eat fresh fruits and vegetables in larger quantities, the healthier we're going to be. I mean, period. So without any of that refute, we have a fresh fruit and vegetable. Okay, so let's start this thing out. We're going to do this stew I was talking about. We've got nice lean ground pork. I went and bought this so you could kind of see what it looks like, because it's not easy to find ground pork in a grocery store that isn't sausage. Okay, it really isn't. And you look around and you're like, I can't find it anywhere. You have to. Hempler's actually is a really, really good brand. It's local, it's small batch, it's really, really nice stuff. I would suggest you do this, or if you know a chef, maybe they can hook you up. So we're going to start out with a little pan right here. Actually, are you seeing all this? Oh, excellent. I'm not playing a video game, I swear. Okay, so we're going to start out with just a little bit of canola oil on the bottom. As you can see, we're going to let that heat up. While we're letting that heat up, we're going to start with all the other ingredients that we need to roast real quick. So we have tomatillos. So tomatillo, it looks like this. It's like a green tomato, but it's not actually a green tomato. It's a whole different type of plant. It is in the nightshade family, but it's got a husk on it. So you peel the husk, take that off, you wash it, then you end up with these. So like a little baby green tomato. So what we're going to do is we're going to put those in our pan. Kind of roll them around a little bit. Season it a little bit with a little salt and pepper. She said my fancy salt and pepper. My fancy salt and pepper is just kosher salt with pepper in it. So it's got just the right amount. It's all mixed together. So it isn't just, when you do a nice fresh ground on pepper, it's going right in the center. So when you're grinding it, you're not really sure where it's going. The nice thing about this is it's all mixed up. So you don't have to worry about like bits of pepper all over, okay? So we've got that. Now we're gonna do a little bit of fresh garlic. And not to have an emerald moment, I'm sorry, but there's no reason to measure garlic, right? You just keep going, right? No reason for any of that. Okay, and then the last thing, the recipe calls for a serrano chili. Serrano chilies are very, very, very spicy. So I opted not to do that to you today. I do have jalapeno. Also, I'm not gonna go crazy with it. We're just gonna throw a chunk in. Now, there's always more later. Plus, this was the magic of TV thing. I wasn't supposed to have this sit here. So we put all this lovely stuff in here. We give it a little swirl. Maybe put a little, just tiny bit more on there. And then we're going to put that in the oven and let it cook. What I'm doing is 350 degrees. Oh, you're magical. 350 degrees for roughly, I don't know, about 10, 15 minutes. We want them until they're kind of soft. So again, that magic, hold on. Here's how this works. You go. Oh, ooh la la. Through the magic of TV, we have roasted jalapeno, tomatillo, and garlic. Hey, that's fantastic. I know it's fun, isn't it? Okay, so we've got our nice hot oil now. We're going to put our pork in here. Again, hot oil. So I'm probably sure you know this by now. If it splashes up and hits you, it's very, very, very hot. So try to do yourself a favor. Anytime you're laying anything into a pan, push it away from you so that way it doesn't splash back at you. I don't think we need that. Okay, so we've got that started now. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. I like to do times. So we've got this lovely thing going here. Put just a little bit more jalapeno. Don't be too scared. We got a little bit of, that's just yellow onion, cleaned and diced. We're going to put a little bit more jalapeno. Okay. We'll go ahead and season it just a little bit. Again, what can we do? Can we take salt out of food after we cook it? It's real tough, right? Maybe like if you're fancy with a potato, you might be able to make it happen. But other than that, it's not happening. So little bit while you're cooking, because you do want that flavor to come out. You do want to get everything intermingling together. But too much obviously is going to make for a bad time. Also, when you're reducing things, it says hot. I hope it's hot. When you're reducing things, as you reduce the amount of water involved, you also can concentrate everything else that's in there. That includes the salt. So if you've started with this and say you taste your broth and you're like, oh, this is amazing. And then you've cooked it down to here and you're like, oh, this is going to be awful. It's full of salt now, because each time you've done it now, you've concentrated that salt effect as it's gone down. So just be careful when you're tasting things. Don't put too much salt in, because you can always add a little bit at the end, right? Okay, another fun thing, hominy. We don't use this enough. It's amazing stuff. It's basically maize corn. It's Mexican corn. You can buy it at any grocery store around here. It's thicker and heartier corn than just like you'd have for your standard corn. Plus, it's also better for you. Okay, so we're going to put a little hominy in there. I swear. Okay, we've got cumin. This is what makes chili taste like chili. It's got that big over-the-top kind of earthy smell to it. Now it's working. So we're going to put a little bit of that in there. And then I kind of feel the same way about cumin as I do garlic. Just go ahead. It's fine. You'll be all right. I want to talk about, now we got all this extra background noise too. This is fun. I want to talk about this lovely thing. Anybody know what this is? Cilantro. Okay, who? Raise your hand real quick. Ah, see? Who doesn't like cilantro? I didn't mean to single you out, I swear. Maybe a little bit. No. Okay, here's the deal. Cilantro, there's a couple of different things. When you go overseas, they don't even call it cilantro. They call it coriander. We know coriander is a seed. So what's the difference? Why? Is there a difference? When this grows and seeds, that seed that pops up on the top is actually the coriander seed. So it's a different flavor. It's a much more nutty, like lemony, citrus kind of fun flavor that's there, where this obviously not even close to the same thing. The reason why I want to bring this stuff up is because there's different uses. This part of this plant is so much more strong than this part. So much more strong. The other thing you can do too, I don't like throwing things away. Who here likes to throw things away? My gosh, we're all the same. So what I'm going to do is, because this is really strong, I'm going to stick that in there. The reason why I'm going to do that is because all this lovely stuff we were roasting earlier, I'm going to stick that in there as well. The reason why is I'm now going to grind this down and make the sauce for this. If I grind all this up first, you're not going to get that crazy dish soap flavor. Now you might still, why does that happen? Why do we get dish soap? Why do some people find it so repulsive and others don't? Huh? It is genetic, perfect. So there's something about, and it's the same with the asparagus thing. We won't go into that, but it's the same. There's all these little genetic traits that we all inherit. And that's where we get some of our flavor profiles. That's where we get some of these other issues we deal with. If you're a fan of cilantro, like most of you probably are, take your cilantro like I had it, and you can't see any of this. So we got this, cut the ends off though, because those ends get really super woody and they're tough to even grind up. I've killed all the Space Invaders. Everybody see that? Excellent. Does everybody smell that? Even better. Okay. So we've put our stems in now. We did through magic of TV, roasted tomatillo and all that fun stuff. Okay. The other thing we got to worry about here is what happens when we try to grind things that are dry or drier? Doesn't work, does it? So go ahead and add just a touch of water. That gets it going. I've also got this neat little immersion stick blender. So we're going to take that, shove it down in there. All this extra noise, it's amazing. You can see, there it goes. Once you get it started, it'll go. If you have a problem and it's not working, you can add a little more fluid. Sorry, no magic of TV on this one. We have a question? The question was, what if we don't have one of these snazzy devices? This is it's an immersion blender, which means we're going to stick it into something. A gravity blender would be what you'd have in your home where you normally just flip the switch and it feeds down. So I would just stick it in a regular blender. This is just easier for right now. It's a little less loud and obnoxious too for a taping situation. So what I'm doing right now, you're gonna notice, you're gonna be like, wow, it looks like he just made salsa. I kind of just did. So if you can see, we've basically just made salsa. Okay? Now, if you're like, I like this dish, but I really don't want to go through all the hassle of all of this, what could you do? Buy a nice green salsa, pour it right on the top. The other reason too is that you might have a hard time. There may be something else that you can't find. For instance, poblano chilies. We were going to get into that too. I like something with a little extra texture though. Right now we've taken everything and we've ground it into a pulp and then we had that. I'd like a little more texture besides that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add the last component to, well, we've missed one of the big ones though, right? These little mushrooms. But first we're going to talk about poblano chilies or pasilla chilies. They look like this. They're lovely peppers. What we need to do though, before we use these, is we need to roast them. So we toss them in a little bit of oil first, put them in an oven, about 350 degrees, let them go for, again, that magical kind of like 12 to 15 minute situation. And what happens is they kind of look like that afterward. When that happens, take your pan, let it cool off a little first, cover it with a little plastic wrap or a little bit of foil. And what that does is it steams the rest of it. And I don't know if everybody can see this, but that skin, notice how it just kind of peels right off now. So you have to do that. You have to get it hot first, then cover it, and that finishes the steaming process, and then that skin will separate. The reason why we want to separate that skin is because we don't really want to eat this. It's very fibrous and it's bitter. So it takes that nice chili and it bitters it out really badly, and it just makes it not so tasty. So we want to get rid of that. So in order to do that, again, we've got this now, and you can kind of see the skin will come right off. See? We just remove it if you have to pick it. The other thing that works really well too is a wet towel. A wet towel will kind of peel that skin back. But as you can see, there it goes. Just like that. And I don't, if you can't see it, just let me know and I'll kind of hopefully show you a little bit, especially if you're in that back row. So anyway, that's how you peel a pasilla or a poblano chili. Obviously from there, we want to remove the stem. Remove the stem and then any seeds. Why do we want to remove the seeds? You're absolutely right. A lot of the capsaicin that's in the chili that makes it spicy lives in those little in those seeds. So if you're worried about something being hot or you want to approach a situation and say, hey, I really like the idea of a chili pepper, but man, it's just so spicy. Start with a jalapeno and just make sure that you take the ribs out and the seeds out, because that will significantly decrease the heat that's in it. So now we've got these guys. We're going to take all these lovely chilies that, again, through the magic of TV. Sorry, I just get a kick out of that. When I was a kid, you'd watch that. So it was like early 80s and they had the fun things and you'd pull it out and they go, look, and it's already made. Julia Childs just pull it out and you're like, wow, that's cool. And now I just think it's funny. So we're just going to take these and rough chop. These are not terribly spicy, which is why we're going to leave them a little bit bigger. It's also going to give us a little bit more texture and it makes it look nicer, right? So now we've got what before had that light green on it with the pork. It didn't look very appetizing. It was okay, but now, wow, now it looks amazing, right? Okay. Make sure I didn't accidentally miss anything. Nope, I think we're good. The last thing I wanted to go over with you is the mushrooms. So for this dish, you can roast the mushrooms ahead of time. You can slice the mushrooms ahead of time. You want to probably cook the mushrooms ahead of time though. That's going to intensify the flavor of that mushroom. It's going to get all that water out of it. You'll still have the meat of the mushroom. Then you've got all this nice sauce in here. If you put that mushroom that's already kind of dried out a little bit back in here, it will rehydrate and all that flavor will go right into that mushroom. So what I've got here is I've got cremini mushroom like this that you just roast whole. So when you're doing your pan of all your other goodies, let's check our goodies. Mushrooms don't take long to roast. So when you're about to like say halfway, like we are right here, go ahead and toss in your mushrooms. Like that. Give a little shake. They like playing in the same sandbox. It'll be okay. And there we go. So through the magic of TV, now we've got these lovely mushrooms. This is exactly what I did earlier. I roasted them. And then when they came out, they were significantly smaller because, again, we've gotten rid of all the water that's in them. And now we've got these lovely little roasted, quartered mushrooms. Now we'll add that in there. So just like color, we like to eat with our eyes, right? We like color. This is not the most colorful dish, I'll give you that. But we also see textures. We eat textures. So the more interesting we make the food when we're eating it and looking at it, all the different shapes. See, now we've taken something that looked kind of silly and not so interesting. And now, well, this looks like a very interesting dish, right? So we've got a little bit of protein. That pork we used was, I believe it was an 80-20 grind. So it had 80% fat or 80% fat, 80% fat. We just put a big scoop of lard in there to start it. No, we had 80% protein or meat and then 20% fat. You need some of that fat. It's good for you. So we had a nice lean cut. And then we have all these lovely vegetables and we have our superfood. Okay. And again, that smell. I don't know, because can anybody not smell that? Okay, good. That's it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to let this sit and get kind of fun. We're going to move on to the next item, okay? Also, somebody may have had something like this growing earlier too. I already had some going. There we go. Now we've got enough for everybody to try. The reason why I wanted to do that too is like we talked about the whole reduction piece. So when you reduce things down and it intensifies in flavor, obviously that what I had going is going to be a lot more flavorful than what's going to be sitting here. So we're just kind of up the flavor profile a little bit, okay? Next. Okay. Next, we're going to move on to this other lovely item. Again, who here has had potato cakes for breakfast? Right? It's great. Everybody's you'll have your hash browns. Yeah, you'll have your other your little home fried potatoes. Those are good, but we're going to get a little more German on this one. Those guys. So instead of like okay potatoes, these are really good potatoes. And here's how you make those. So let's see here. It's time for a little switch up. Bear with me. Anybody have any questions, first of all, about anything we've done?
If you don't eat pork, what do you substitute?
That is a phenomenal question. She asked, if you don't eat pork, what can you do? I almost just went with something else anyway, because I know a lot of people a little, like my wife, she doesn't eat pork. There's a lot of people that just choose not to eat pork, and that's fine. You can use, obviously, a lean ground beef would be lovely. If you like lamb, you could even use ground lamb, pretty much ground veal. All those other options you can find in the grocery store around. They're easy to come by. Or even better, you can go and you can get the Impossible or Beyond meat grind. If you're vegan or vegetarian, you just prefer not to eat animal products, it's all available now. So that Impossible grind would be lovely to start this thing out with. Absolutely. I'm so glad you asked that. Any other questions? That was a great question.
You substitute
I can't talk to you. See, you thought you were going to get picked on. Just wait. No, I'm just joking. So the greenery's nice. The way to fluff that, you can use regular parsley, maybe Italian parsley, but I wouldn't go so crazy over the top with it because it's a little stronger. I'm curious if you allow it later, maybe you'll try this. Tell me what you think later, and then you and I can take that off, and I can give you some more suggestions afterward. Okay, so we've got potatoes. These are little Yukon Gold potatoes. All I've done is left them whole. I washed them first, left them whole, skin on, because I like the skin on. When you fry them up, it gets kind of crispy, and then steam them. There you go. That's it. All the other fun. Oh, that's the next one. Potatoes, eggs. Okay, so we've got our potatoes, green onions. Green onions are nice just because you don't have to cook them, and they've got that nice, brilliant flavor. So we're going to take a little bit of green onion, and we're going to slice it up. See, I'm reading your mind. You could use yellow onion if you'd like, but again, with this, if you already have your potatoes cooked, or maybe you have some leftover ones that we're going to use for mashed potato or something the night before, these are perfect, right? A little bit of flour. That's going to help keep anything, like if there's some extra moisture in there, that will help fix that because we want these to stay bound. We had salt and pepper, obviously, a little bit. Fresh garlic. because as we know, it belongs in everything. For this easiest way, anybody know the easiest way to do garlic real fast? With a garlic press. Well, you're right. You just do this, press. So smash it down because then it doesn't roll around on your cutting board and then you don't have to worry about chopping fingers off. I am also wearing one of those snazzy cut gloves. I won't lie though, I don't use them at home. But if you're a little worried and you want to be able to use a big knife and you like the ability to like, there's a lot of benefit of using a decent sized knife, right? And you're a little worried about cutting yourself. I know that on Amazon or a lot of different knife stores, you can actually go now and you can get a cut glove. And these cut gloves are great. You put a glove on underneath, so that way your hand doesn't sweat. Put a cut glove on and then put a glove over it. Now you don't get your cut glove all nasty and you're good. So we've got our garlic, there's salt, pepper, flour. Oh, I've been waiting to talk about these. Look at these guys. Oh my gosh, they're alien eggs. No, eggs are amazing. The ones that we get normally in the grocery store are awful. There's no flavor. The yellows are, emaciated, barely any color at all. When I was living overseas in Australia, I was talking to somebody about the egg, and I noticed how bright it was. I'm like, why does this happen? He says, oh, it's because you always mess with your food over there. And I said, ooh, I think you're right. We do. So now I'm hoping that I'm not lying here, because this could be really, really embarrassing. If I've gotten the right eggs, I should find that yellow we're talking about. Oh, yeah, would you look at that? It's a very bright, brilliant, over the top yellow. What's the reason for that? Anybody know? It's what they're fed. Correct. It's exactly it. Why do these have that beautiful color where the ones that you normally buy in the store don't? What are those chickens fed? What are the ugly egg chickens fed? Grain. Very good. Grain or corn. Do we know a lot of animals that just decide to eat grain or corn just for the heck of it? No, that doesn't happen. Protein. Chickens, if you let them just run around on their own and eat food, they will eat bugs. They will eat all kinds of things. What they don't do is crawl up a corn stalk and peck at it. They don't do that. So if you let the chicken eat what it's supposed to eat, you will have a lovely, brilliant, over-the-top, beautiful yolk. Now, while we're waiting on this, let's do a little movement here. No. This thing's too smart for its own good. There you go. Do we want to give a plug to GE for their... Okay. So now, all I'm doing is kind of mashing it all up together. Give it a quick stir. Make sure it's all... Now, do we care if it's completely mashed up? No. In fact, we don't want to mash it all the way up, because then it's not fun. Okay. We'll try not to wear this. It is the easiest thing to use for a mash. It's just use a whisk. It busts it up a little bit, but it doesn't give it too small of pieces. And now we've got a potato cake mix. And like I was telling Rachel before, I like to use personally, instead of the cooked potato, I like using fresh potato and put it like either grated or whatever and do more like a latke. Those are amazing because then you get that nice crispy effect, but you still have that bite of that raw potato in there. So it's got some nice texture to it. These are going to be amazing too. I just wanted to give you another opportunity. We got our nice hot pan. Oh my gosh, come on. It's like I'm hot already. I'm like, no, you're not. Okay, you stay. Talk to your equipment, talk to your pans, talk to your knives. They appreciate it. They work better when you do that. Maybe not. And this is why it's so important to have the magic of TV. All right, we're going to put this off to the side. If this decides to heat up, we're going to make a beautiful potato cake. Okay, so we did see these fun things. You can actually buy these. These I found in the grocery store. Everybody's seen Happy Eggs? They come in a bright yellow container, and they even say on there, beautiful yolks. They like, that's what they're proud of. And they say cage free. I think they mean it. They actually let them sit there and run around. Whatever. All right. The other thing they did is they call these heritage eggs. So they come in a blue box instead of the bright yellow. And it's just a different kind of chicken. There's no actual nutritional difference between this egg and say this egg or a white one necessarily. Again, it comes down to the feed and it comes down to the breed that makes the chicken that does this. Okay. A brown egg is not more nutritionally valued. It doesn't have a higher nutritional value than a white egg. But what they did feed it does help the nutritional value. So a chicken that's fed normal natural obviously is going to be higher in protein. It's going to might have a better flavor, will have a different nutritional value. I'm not saying it's better. I'm not saying it's worse, but it will change it just a bit. Okay. I do know they taste better though. I do know that. So that's these lovely guys. I'm going to leave those there. Again, that was kind of window dressing. Now we need to, oh man, this is going to be really bad now. Let's try this other one out. Maybe we can get some heat over here. All right. You can come back over here. Sorry, now we're way off camera. I don't know. Maybe it's just not going to work. Well, we're in luck. If that's the case, and we know this, maybe there's some weird induction thing. Anybody know what induction cooking is? It is, isn't it? Okay. That's okay. So induction cooking is a fun, there it is. Hear that? Induction happens through magnetism. So it literally, it creates in that magnetic field and gets all the molecules going really, really fast. So that way, if I pull this off right now and stick my hand on top of it, it won't be hot. The pan's going to get hot, but the rest won't. So obviously this right here, this pan is made of a metallic quality where aluminum is obviously not magnetic. So if you can stick a magnet to the bottom of your pan, you can use it for induction cooking. There you have it. All right. We learn something new every day. And just so happened we had that extra pan, so we're still in business. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we've got those beautiful potato cakes, and we're going to make a topping for them. So in that recipe, you'll see we're going to use our mushrooms. We've got edamame. What's edamame, by the way? Anybody know? What's that? Soybean. Yeah, absolutely. They're super high in lovely fats, super high. It's almost like the best tasting lima bean you've ever had kind of situation, right? You don't like lima bean? Oh my gosh, we're gonna go out and eat. All right. So we're gonna use mushrooms, edamame, a little bit of onion. I would imagine we'll squeak some garlic in there somewhere. And then some tomato. So we're gonna make this nice little saute. We'll serve it over the top of a potato cake. And then we've got some lovely yogurt. I've got some Greek yogurt. This is a 0% fat Greek yogurt. It's almost like eating sour cream. It's a great alternative for sour cream. Obviously, if you're lactose intolerant, it's still not an option, but it doesn't provide a lot of fat. It's a lot of protein. And the Greek stuff is great because it's obviously not runny. Okay, so these guys here, these little oyster mushrooms, they tell you that instead of cutting them, you should just pull them. So we will. Again, nice little oyster mushrooms. I like to keep them fairly big too. Obviously, they're going to cook down. You saw the difference in the size as you cook down the as I cook down the creminis. They went from like that big down to this. So leaving them bigger is a better option. King oyster, I'm just going to take the little bit off the bottom that's woody. Again, we're going to kind of leave it big. We'll go nice big slices. We might as well, since, well, it's a nice big mushroom and it'll look really nice when we finish, right? Maybe a little bit more for you. So we got some king oyster mushrooms in there now. We're going to go ahead and use a few of these little guys, these little, chanterelle mushrooms. And again, for these, just break them up a little bit. There's no reason to cut them. Now, why do you not want to cut them if you can help it? What happens when you cut them? Say again? It bruises it. Perfect. Yeah, it actually messes with the flavor. It will take some of the flavor out of the mushroom when you bruise it. And then we have these guys. Anybody know what those are? Shiitake mushroom. Obviously an Asian variety. Whole different flavor. So as you can see, we're just doing a nice little mix of all kinds of fun mushrooms. Smell good? With these shiitakes too, remove that little stem that's on the end. It's just a little on the woody side. You can eat it. It just won't be all that great. A little salt and pepper. And we have these guys. The fancy ones. San Marzano tomato. It's just a nice little Roma tomato. That's all it really is. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just throw them directly in there. We don't have to cut them up necessarily on the board. Just put them straight in. You don't put all the extra juice in, because then it's going to take it longer to cook. Save the juice, maybe drink it later. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but I mean, it is tomato juice. So. Okay, and everybody can kind of see this now. And again, we're cooking with texture. Look at all those fun textures in there. We got fun shapes all over the place. Again, with the garlic, why not, right? Now for this, we're just going to get silly with it. Unless it's got one of those goofy ends on it, just put it straight in. Any objection? Not so much? Garlic's amazing stuff. There we go. And again, at least smash it though, that's just so it kind of exposes that meat in there. It'll help it cook. You really shouldn't eat a lot of raw garlic. What happens when you eat raw garlic? You are not fun to be around for like hours afterward, right? It is awful. It's very unpleasant. So try not to. I mean, I know if we have any Greeks in the room and we start talking about tzatziki, they'll just go straight in with the garlic. Oh, it's just, man, for 2 days, it's just awful. Okay. So kind of, let me give you another idea on this. Really what we've got here is we've almost got like an Italian ragu. We've just made a nice little thick hearty sauce with big chunks of vegetable, and we're stewing it down until it creates a sauce. That's all this is. Okay. I'm going to turn this down now, and we're going to move on to yet the third item. We're going to let all these flavors kind of build. And at the very end, we'll just kind of plate it all up and we'll show you everything. But we're trying to establish all these big, beautiful flavors. If we figure out our rules of our video game here. Okay. I'm going to add just a touch more water to this because I don't want it to get too dry. So we'll put a touch of water in there and then cover it up. It'll be a nice surprise for later. Okay. And lastly, we've got Harvest Avocado Toast. It's like the new millennial thing. We can't survive without avocado toast. I don't know how we ever did. It's nuts. Any questions about what we did so far? No? We're good? Am I just that good or is everybody that bashful? Let's see if I have any fun stuff here. Avocados are really not doing all that hot right now.
We had a comment from the chat. Says Chef Devon surely knows his way around the kitchen. I love how unafraid he is of spice and strong flavors.
Outstanding. Is this, did I pay this person? Was this may have been a solicited comment. It may have been. Either way, thank you and good job. Okay. Now, I may have done a bit of this ahead of time. We don't have a grill here. So grill is just, it's really a necessity with some of these other flavors that we want to do. Avocado toast, as we all know, you can put the toast in a toaster, it's fine. But grilled bread, so much tastier. So I went ahead and did us a little hookup here and grilled some bread earlier. And I may have pickled these onions earlier. If you look at the recipe, it asks for pickled onion. I wanted to go over, first of all, where are we at with time? I've not had, oh, we're good? Excellent. Time to eat? Okay. So I pickled these up ahead of time. You can pickle any kind of vegetable. I'm a huge fan of pickling your own stuff. All it takes is vinegar. It takes salt. It takes a little bit of, like, usually water to help drop the acidulation so you can actually eat it. A little bit of sugar to offset that salt, and then whatever flavor components you like in there. I think it calls for dried thyme. I like bay leaf. I think bay leaf gives an amazing flavor for a pickle. You bring it to a boil. You put your vegetables, preferably cut into small pieces. You put it in there. You bring it right up to a boil, and then pull it off immediately and just put it in your cooler. And that's all you have to do for a quick pickle. You can do it with anything for the most part. So that, oopsie. There's no magic of TV on that one. That's just a faux pas. All right. So we've got this, all this is red onion that I did a quick pickle on this morning. So you can see they're all just these nice, big, beautiful strands, and the red bleeds all the way through so you get that beautiful color, okay? Now, we are gonna have a small problem. We talked about these mushrooms that we needed to do, turmeric braised mushrooms. We have turmeric. I need a pan that works. Let's see, what are we gonna do here? Actually, here, I'm gonna fix it real fast. We have an oven. And look, see? Those are all finished, ready to roll. Being in a kitchen's always fun. There's always something you're gonna have to deal with. So just roll with it. It's okay. Everything will be just fine. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz. Just don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, right? So. Hey, look at that. Ready to roll. Now we can play with our mushrooms. Okay, so we're gonna start with a little bit of oil. Again, we're gonna do the exact same thing we were doing before. We've got all of our lovely mushrooms. And again, does everybody like the idea of the nice blend, or you want me to just stick with the normal mushroom? Anybody squirrely about mushrooms? No, very good. Forward we go. So we were talking about avocado toast. So this is not your normal Starbucks avocado toast. This is lovely, awesome superfood mushroom. And obviously we're going to use grape tomatoes and asparagus, and obviously pick these lovely little pickled onions. And then we're going to have a little bit of this beautiful lemon that we'll put down over the top. Yes, there'll be avocado. Don't worry. There'll be avocado. But we're going to have all these other more interesting things to add to this instead of just avocado and toast. Okay. I'm going to bring my own burner next time. I have other fun burners that run on butane. Nothing against these though. They're actually quite amazing. The induction situation and being able to have a pan on a burner, it's low. It doesn't take hardly any energy to make it happen because it's using magnetism. And again, one of the nice side effects is that if I remove this and stick my hand straight on there, it shouldn't burn. I wouldn't suggest you do that. But again, that's one of the side effects, is that heat in your home as you're cooking, you don't have to worry about it heating up your home as bad. Once it's done, it's done. You pull it off, the magnetism stops, and it stops cooking. Couple of these, and don't worry, I will not forget to put these guys right here. Oh, those little guys, they're the best. There are places around here too that you can go. I would not suggest going out and looking on your own unless you're very capable mushroom forager. My wife thinks I'm crazy because I'll go out looking for them and I'll take a little piece off and I'll eat it. And she's like, "What are you doing? You're gonna kill yourself." And I'm like, nah, just get a little tummy ache and that'll be about it. But you find out right away whether something's, I'm not condoning this behavior. So I shouldn't even be telling you about this. I'm gonna get in trouble. But pretty much you'll see a few of them out there. The chanterelle is a great one to go forage for. There is one that looks exactly like it that is not good for you. But we have all these incredible mushrooms that are all here in our backyards. I'm not saying go eat the mushrooms in your backyard. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, turmeric. Why turmeric? What's the whole point of this? What is it, first of all? What is this spice? Anybody know? It says to use it, I use it. Quit asking me the questions. Color, sure. Those sweet butter pickles we always ate as kids that were nice, bright yellow, or had that yellow twinge to them, that came from that. It's a root, just like ginger, only it's little guy, and you can get different colors. It isn't just that color. There's actually a white turmeric that you can use. Is there a benefit to eating it? Just perfect. So what she just said was she takes it for her arthritis. There's a lovely anti-inflammatory property to it. It's great for you. I mean, besides curry, which is, I mean, when you look at this, you think yellow curry, right? But there's a reason why other countries around the world eat these things and eat them in large quantities for plates of food. Not because, I mean, they do taste good, don't get me wrong, but they're good for you. It's health food. So we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of this in. Not a lot though, only a little bit, because it can get also kind of bitter. The other thing you can do as well is you can grind the whole root, just like you would for ginger. If you use the fresh whole root, it is better for you. Absolutely. We'll do a little bit of salt and pepper. What else did we say to do on this guy? Yeah. All right. Salt, pepper, and then when in doubt, what do? Garlic. Somebody's been listening. Outstanding job. Okay. Again, now we have interesting avocado toast. All right. Now, we do want to braise these down a little bit because some of these mushrooms are a little chewy. So we're going to go ahead and add just a little bit of that water like we did before. And we're going to let that cook down. Okay, now the fun part. What's the fun part? You say, it's all been so much fun. I can't believe there's a better part. Eating it. All right. Now the truly fun part, eating it. So let's go ahead. I think I had some lovely plates. Aha, very good. It's the benefit of having your own kitchen. All right, so first things first, this lovely chili. We had talked about this. You're like, I don't know if that's breakfast food, right? I don't know. Okay. Again, we have this lovely chili that's cooking. Does everyone see this now? Okay. It smells really good. If you can't smell it, this actually reminds me of like a nice pozole, only it's not soup. It's actually a stew. Okay. And we've actually run that here quite a few times. We've done it and everybody's been extremely happy about that. So I would imagine it'll be back on the menu shortly. I know you're finished. Okay. So we'll take our lovely little stew here. Again, this is more like what you'd have in another country. They would eat something like this for breakfast, especially like on a cold day, like maybe cold, wet, and rainy Seattle. We're starting a new tradition here. All right. Now, another thing that somebody might do is they might take a tortilla, and they might grill it off ahead of time. Try to keep this a little uncrazy. And don't worry, there will be little samples to have. So we've got these lovely tortillas. So all I did was I took a tortilla and I threw it on a grill. That's all I did. Marked it a little bit on one side, and that's going to burn that a little bit. That caramelization is going to give it the flavor, that toasty, that nutty. Now with this, just keep it simple. Serve it on the side. And that's it. That's all you got to do. In fact, and I hate to do this because you're not supposed to. Well, first of all, how do we feel about recipes anyway? Do we like recipes? Yes. They are. They're a good guide, aren't they? They're a great guide. But do we have to do everything that's on there? Like when it says add a serrano chili. Maybe not. Maybe we have to play to our audience, right? We have to make sure that we're cooking for the people that are going to be eating, not ourselves. The other thing is, if we see something like, oh my gosh, look at that. Wouldn't that doesn't belong there. Wait, now it does. Now it does. These are those little pickled onions that we were talking about earlier. Wait a minute, that belongs there for sure. So when you're making these nice dinners and you're planning these things out, don't just look at it like, well, I have to do it this way. Absolutely not. Do it the way you like to eat it. Also talk to your guests. Make sure, like, if there's any dietary concerns, things like that, take those into consideration. We do that on a daily basis here for our residents as well. We make sure that we give them an opportunity to have things that they will find pleasurable versus you're going to eat this because the recipe says so, right? So look at that. That's beautiful. All the color, all the nice chilies in there, the pork. And again, we're just going to take that, kind of pick it up with the thing, eat it. Oh, it's going to be magical, right? So that's the first one. I know somebody's like waiting. Who wants it first? No, we'll get to that in a moment. Okay, now avocado toast. This is a super easy one, right? Everything's already ready. We'll pick out our nice bread. Again, I just pickled, or sorry, I pickled it. I grilled the bread. What do we got to have avocado first though, right? Everybody's like, you got to smash the avocado and put it on. Okay, we can do that. We'll keep the millennials happy for a moment. Put that on there. Nice smashed avocado on the bottom, right? Everybody's still happy. Everybody's still happy. Wait, we're gonna mess with them right now. The millennials, they don't even know how to deal with this. Now we got these beautiful mushrooms. Oh my God! And see the color. I even dripped a little bit, but look at the color on that. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Then we talked about some grilled asparagus. Sure, why not? So we can put some grilled asparagus on there. Then we talked about other things we grilled earlier. Look at these guys. So we took those lovely little grape tomatoes and we grilled those. I found a couple different varieties. Here's a good question. Is a grape tomato an heirloom tomato? What is an heirloom tomato? Is it something fancy they just put in grocery stores to charge you more money, right? What is an heirloom tomato? Anybody know? We hang a chain around it and it sits around our neck and now it's an heirloom. No, heirloom tomatoes that's the old seed that hasn't been messed with. So we've done a lot of grafting and playing and so on. Heirloom tomatoes are ones that we haven't messed with yet. These are the original seeds that came from the original spots, and they grow the original tomato the way it was technically designed. So is a grape tomato. What? Did you have a question?
I do have a question. How much of this can be prepared ahead of time?
Well, you obviously, that's the beauty of doing it like this in this setting, is that you can see that all this was kind of done ahead of time. Where I had Magic of TV, it gave me the opportunity to prep these things and then be able to put them together. So all this stuff that we have sitting around here is fancy. We call it in fancy mise en place. So it's mess in place, basically. All of our stuff that we need is all here. It's all prepped. It's all ready. So that way, when it's time to execute, we aren't dashing around looking for different things. So when our pans don't work or something else doesn't work, it's okay. We can just modify as we go. If you're over here going, well, now I need green onion. Well, now I need this. If you're doing that, things are burning, things are happening, things are all over the place. So everything can be made ahead of time for the most part. The idea is getting all those pieces so the choreography comes together at the right time. So you have all those things where you need them. So everything can be made that way. Absolutely. All right, what were we doing? Avocado toast. We got this, we got this, we got this. Everything's done. Look at that. Then we've got our beautiful onions again. I know we already used them, but I am so happy about pickled onions that I just put them on everything. So we have all that. And then just because, now I found you earlier. Avocado. We're taking a chance here. Most of these were a little on the, oh, it opened. How do you know if an avocado is ripe enough to eat? If you cut it and it turns, it's ready to eat. If it's not, don't do it. Okay, so we have avocado. We're just gonna run a knife inside real quick. I have a cut glove on. Do not do this if you do not have a cut glove on. I have had more people with more injuries because they've cut avocado like I just did. So be careful. We scoop out our avocado. And again, this is just avocado toast, right? So we'll just put our avocado on top. There, now see, it's still avocado toast. Look at that. And then a little bit of salt and pepper on that avocado. Just checking. Just checking. You've been an amazing sport. Okay. I know you're telling me this is all fall stuff, right? It's so colorful. See, you can have colorful food. Just pickle some onions and put them on everything. Now you've got colorful food. Okay, last dish was that nice big potato cake. I like to make them bigger. You could make them whatever size you like. I did for our day here. I made them bigger. Look at those things. Beautiful. So, in fact, let's take this guy right here. Don't worry. There will be potato cake to be had. Lots of potato cake. We're just going to cut that. A couple pieces. Lay that out. Uh-oh. Somebody's alarm. Have I gone over time already? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I really tried to simplify. I just get a little long-winded. I like food. Okay. Look at that. Now we've got our beautiful mushrooms with our edamame. Ah, beautiful. Now we'll take a little bit of that. Stick it over our potato cake. And again, all these have amazing textures. Make sure you take advantage of that when you're putting it in your dish too. Put all those lovely little textures all over the place. So far, so good, right? And then, like I said, this stuff eats like sour cream. Who likes sour cream? Who has the lack of shame to sit there and just eat sour cream? All right. So a little bit of that right on top. And now we have potato cake. Extra fancy potato cake, right? And then we had these green onions in here earlier. We'll take a few of these. Again, nice little garnish there. Oh, it's so sweet. Look at that. So sweet. All right, any questions about what we've done?
Could you say something about cleaning mushrooms?
I could. Okay, so mushrooms, there's a couple different things. Depends on how squeamish you are about mushrooms. Purists will say just take it and brush it off. Get the dirt or whatever it grows in off of it, okay? Cut the stem off. If you're using portobellos, remove the ribs on the inside because they hold more dirt than anything. But purist says just wash it down with a little or scrub it down with a little brush and then we're good. Personally, if I eat at home, that's what I do. For situations like this where we're around people that might have some issues health-wise, we don't want to put any extra possibility of getting anyone sick. We absolutely wash them. We take them, we put them, we submerge them in water, we clean them, and then we pull them out, we let them dry, and then we use them. But it's up to you. In your house, if you're comfortable with it, obviously the more water you add back into a mushroom, it's a sponge. It's going to take all that nice water and suck it all right back up. So again, you're better off just brushing them off. But if you're worried about what they grow in, you're worried about that you could get sick, then by all means, yes, please do wash them. Let them dry though before you try to cook with them, because if you throw a wet mushroom in a hot pan with oil, what's going to happen? You might wear some of that, and that's not going to be fun. Good question. Anybody else? It's okay. I don't bite too badly. No? Did everybody have fun? Oh.
I dry mushrooms at home because I go to the store and I see, big container of mushrooms for $1.39 and I say, oh, it's going to have that big. So I take it home and I dry it and dehydrate it.
Sure.
What's the best way to rehydrate? Is it okay if we just throw it in anything?
Well, again, you've taken all the water out, so it's gonna pick that up just in any fluid. So whatever stock or whatever soup or whatever, anything that's got fluid, you can rehydrate them.
Okay. Because what I've noticed when I put I've been putting them in a like a jar or something like that, some water,
Sure.
and that water is lovely brown.
Yeah, use that water too.
I thought it was okay to use the water, so I wasn't.
Absolutely. You've made mushroom stock the easy way. All right. If there's no more other questions, I hope that everybody. Oh, you do? Oh, you do? Sorry.
We do have another question online here. Is it healthier to eat cooked instead of raw mushrooms?
There's actually benefit to both. I believe you lose some of the nutrition when you cook them. I just don't know a lot of people that like to eat raw mushrooms. They're just a little weird to eat. So yes, I think there is a health benefit to eating raw mushrooms. If you can stomach it, if you like it, if the texture doesn't mess with you, then go for it. But I think most people, cooking them is the way to go. Also, the other thing that cooking does too is if there's anything on that mushroom that has a contaminant that's alive, it'll kill it. So definitely, I would say go ahead and cook it. But yeah, no, if you like raw mushrooms, eat raw mushrooms. They're good for you. Absolutely. Any other questions? I'm getting better at my charades.
You're making room for mushrooms.
Indeed. And you too. That's going to be tough. Okay, go ahead.
Come on in. Thank you, Chef. That was amazing. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope you found this fun and informative with this fun guy. Too much?
Nice.
Fun guy.
This portafella.
This porta
Wait.
fella.
Okay, those are the outtakes. We thank you for your interest in Wesley. We'd love to have you come out and visit. Please give us a call. We'd love to show you around our campuses.
Yep, I have so much room for mushrooms. All right, now we're really done. But I do want to invite you to our next teaching kitchen. It's going to be Wednesday, October 5th. We're hosting it at our Tahali Bonnie Lake location. And so go ahead and visit us at wesleychoice.org. I hope you have the chance to come visit us in person here at Des Moines and our other campuses as well. Thank you so much. This looks delicious.
Thanks,
Thank you
Chef.
so much.
Thank you, everyone.
you.
We'll see you soon. Bye now.